Malaysia juga menghadapi cabaran yang agak getir. Kadar pengangguran di Malaysia adalah di paras 3.9%.
So, isu yang tak settle-settle di Malaysia lagi adalah pengangguran.
Pengangguran meningkat kepada 5.0% pada bulan April 2020.
Mustahil ke kalau kita nak lahirkan usahawan sebenar melalui pendidikan tinggi?
Kalau kita tengok artikel tentang situasi di Malaysia, ada 200,000 graduan yang tak ada kerja.
Disebabkan teknologi yang berubah, perubahan ekonomi, perubahan pemikiran generasi baru, education yang dulu tu mungkin tidak lagi bersesuaian.
Dan mengikut anjuran Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia pada 14 Mei 2020, kadar pengangguran dijangka akan meningkat.
A marriage, perkahwinan antara traditional learning and kemahiran. Welcome to the revolution.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Farah. Hey, Aline. Hey, Fatin, Shaban, Hamidah, Sufi. Wah, long. Yalah, 1 week we took a break, kan? So that's why we don't really see each other. Well, how are you guys in this weather today? It's wet and wetter, I would say. Now, well, let's see what we are. Motivation, well, I don't think I'm a motivational speaker, but I always only share from my heart, and I can only give you the tips. It's whether you drives you from within or not, right? So, well, so I was thinking after this break, what are we gonna do? And I was thinking of sharing with you basically about your personality. I mean, basically your behavioral styles. And then tomorrow we're going to see about different behavioral styles and what type of business and how do you actually do business. And then the following day is what creates stresses for different behavioral styles. So remember, just a quick recap from what we have done so far. It's all about you and you alone and how you shape your identity, shape your focus, shape your motivations, shape your goals, everything. It's a telltale story. Everything is part and parcel of you. And hey, Mizan, miss you guys too, actually. At 11 o'clock, I sit down and I know I need to do something. What is it? It's something like empty. But I was conducting a whole week of workshop last week. So, and it was really good because ultimately we were talking about a whole program called Knowing Me, Knowing You. It's all about the art and science about handling people. And I thought, hey, since it's still fresh in my mind again, I thought I share it with you. How nice will it be when you look at a person and you know how their mind is thinking? Because let's put it this way. In business, we want to influence people. And the only way to influence people is using a method that best influences them. All right, in a nutshell, what we are saying is that, you see, the biggest problem, okay, I'm going to use husband and wife as an example, right? When, for those of you who are not, when you were, okay, you're already married for some of us, right? So when you are courting that time, okay, when you are lovey-dovey, honey, sayang, and all that kind of stuff, right? When you're courting, what happens? Number one, you need to understand when you're courting, your focus is always about the good thing about the other person. You talk about the guy's hair, you talk about how good he is, etc. You only see all the good things. Whether you like to admit it or not, that's what it is, because that's the focus. And then after that, so because of all the love that's in the air and sparked, they said, okay, let's get married. Okay, the moment you get married, okay, ladies, my advice to you, if you are not meeting anyone yet, please open your eyes very big. Okay, I've got Chinese eyes, so susah lah nak buka, besar sangat kan. So I try to open it big, all right? Open your eyes really big and look at the guy. After you get married, please close both eyes. Some people say, no, we close one eye. I say, no, there's no such thing as close one eye. You have to close both eyes. Why? What you realize is that after marriage, you will find that the person has changed. But actually, the person has not changed. We were the same before marriage, and after marriage, we're the same person. I'm the same guy. The only problem is that our focus has changed. So basically, when the focus has changed, what do we normally do? We try to influence the person to change. All right, we say, okay, the person changed. Let me try to influence them. But how many times you realize that, I mean, ladies, when you repeat something to your spouse, do they ever change? Or even for your kid, for example. Or maybe if your colleague or your staff. You see, we have a natural tendency as humans, when people don't do things according to the way we do it or we tell them to do it, we get upset. What we try to do is we repeat. But the thing is that if you have been repeating about 2 to 3 times and it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You follow what I'm saying? It's like business as well. If you are doing the same method and it doesn't work, that means there's something wrong with that method. With time for us to change our approach. Problem is we would like to always use the same approach to handle the same thing. So when we talk about personalities, we are talking about different people, different styles. There are some people, when you want to do business with them, it's very simple. Sir, would you like to do business with me? If you're going to give me this, I'm going to give you this. How's that? Yes or no? And they will do business with you. But some people cannot. Some other people, hey, you not their buddy first. You know that sometimes people ask me, Adrian, when you go for a meeting, how come the meeting so long? I said, unfortunately, this particular client requires it. I remember there's one client that I had. My meeting lasted 4 hours. Eileen, yeah. Meeting lasted 4 hours. And people said, my goodness, you talk about a very big project. I said, no. How can it take so long? Well, basically, I'm meeting the client for the first time. And this client's personality is that she needs to talk. If she doesn't talk, she doesn't build relationship with you. And all I did was this. Whether you like it or not, I said that, yeah, wow, that's interesting. Can you tell me more? And as I asked her, can you tell me more? She like, all right, there she goes. She talk and talk and talk and talk. After 3 hours, 45 minutes, guess what happened? She said, Adrian, hey, since you are here, and let me give you this project. Can you do this for us? I said, all right, thank you very much. So what I'm saying here is that there's some people who are very abrupt. That means you need to know that they are basically business come first. Sir, you want to do this business or you don't want to do business? You tell me, let's not waste time. Then once they actually build that relationship with you, then only they become buddies. But there's some people you need to become a buddy first or a friend first, then only you talk about business. You know what I'm talking about? And there's some people, if you want to do business with them, all you have to do is you have to bring out a proper proposal paper with all the details involved. Then you write to them and say, can I please have a meeting with you? And then sit down with a formal meeting. You know those types where when you walk into a meeting room, there'll be a projector on the table, screen going on, then everyone will be sitting down there looking very serious with their notebook. And then at the time comes, at 10 o'clock, okay, silakan, you can start. Wow, that is one of those stressful meetings that I can ever remember. But there's some people who does that. And the other type of people we are talking about when you're dealing with personalities are those people who don't like to talk too much. They don't like pushy people. They don't like people asking them, "Hey, you want to do business with me?" No, the answer is no. You have to go down there and say, "Hey, how are you? How's everything? Is it a good day, good time? All right, I'm going to leave this proposal for you, and can you please look at it during your time when you're free, okay? I'll come back to you next week on Monday again before 9 o'clock. I'll just give you a call. Is that all right with you?" So basically, I'm actually using the DISC personality profile as a guide here, because DISC personality profiles is one of those easier to use and easier to recognize type of personality profiling. Because why? If you look at it properly, what they are saying is that the D's being the dominants, the I's being the influences, S being the steadies, and C being the compliance. So if you're talking about the dominant people, it's exactly what I've actually shared with you earlier on, to say, hey, this is what I want, this is how we do business, and do you want it or not? Influencers are the buddy people. The S, the steadies. The steadies are the people that needs to build relationship first. Safety and security is something that is very important to them. C being the compliance people, as the word compliance, they like to hear all the details and everything involved. So what we are saying is that as long as you can recognize them. Now, I'm going to give you a very quick tip, okay, for today before we end the session, because we're going to give you more details every single day. How do you recognize the different personalities? Because most of the time people say, hey, when I learned DISC from you, Adrian, how do I then go and approach clients? I say very simple. Recognize them. You can't print out a piece of paper and say, sir, before we start doing business, can you please fill out a form so I know who you are? I mean, let's face it, some of us who have been working with each other, colleagues, in the longest time, you still do not know who they are. So one way of recognizing your colleague's personality if you're working in an office environment is to look at their desk. Go around and look at their desk. The dominant people, generally, there's only two possibilities of their desk. One, it's either they're extremely messy. Two, they're extremely clean. There is no two ways around it, right? The influencers, okay, one of their motivational styles is stylo milo, okay? Influencers are those type of people. If you look at their dressing also, they like to have different colors. They like, even for guys, they like to wear brighter blue. They like to wear pink color shirts. Okay, they are the more people. They like the stylo milo. If they are ladies yang pakai tudung, you see they actually wear their tudung is not the plain colors. They are normally all the different colorful colors, and they like to wear all the bling blings. Basically, they look as if they're a Christmas tree sometimes. All right, I'm just joking, but what I mean is that basically there's a lot of bling blings lah. That's how it is. Okay, so then then their table are normally messy, but please don't ever mention that their table is messy. They will tell you, no, my table is not messy. That's my style. That's my way. It's called organized mess. Whereas if you're going to talk about the steadies and compliance are very structured. So if you look at their desk, they are generally very neat. The only thing is for compliance, you would actually see one extra thing, is that they like to use Post-it pads. They like everything needs to be labeled and everything needs to be very, very structured. Whereas the steadies, one way of looking at it, go around, you would normally see if they are married and they have got kids, they would normally have their family photo on their table. The DIs, the dominants generally do not have photos on the table unless they are shaking hands with the Prime Minister or they have conquered Mount Kinabalu. This is the achievement pictures that they like to send. Normally, influencers, they would always talk about, they will show pictures of them traveling with friends. Even you look at Facebook also, you will be able to see what type of pictures that people post. All right. So that's a very quick tip as to how you recognize the different personalities. Tomorrow, we're going to see how to do business with them. okay, in a very, very specific measure, and how you yourself as a individual, how do you do business? Because ultimately, not all personalities, we need to have a combination of all personalities to make things work. We cannot only use one dimension, right? So that's what we are talking about, being flexible as to how to adapt to the other person's styles, and therefore we will be able to get our results way, way much faster. All right, so not many comments today, so we'll come back to you tomorrow, same time, same place. All right, till tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Malaysia juga menghadapi cabaran yang agak getir. Kadar pengangguran di Malaysia adalah di paras 3.9%.
So, isu yang tak settle-settle di Malaysia lagi adalah pengangguran.
Pengangguran meningkat kepada 5.0% pada bulan April 2020.
Mustahil ke kalau kita nak lahirkan usahawan sebenar melalui pendidikan tinggi?
Kalau kita tengok artikel tentang situasi di Malaysia, ada 200,000 graduan yang tak ada kerja.
Disebabkan teknologi yang berubah, perubahan ekonomi, perubahan pemikiran generasi baru, education yang dulu tu mungkin tidak lagi bersesuaian.
Dan mengikut anjuran Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia pada 14 Mei 2020, kadar pengangguran dijangka akan meningkat.
Marriage perkahwinan antara traditional learning and kemahiran. Welcome to the revolution.